Okay. And Quincy Jones, The Q magazine, November 1987, spoke about it very well.
Quincy Jones, Q magazine, November 1987. Michael's success had gotten so far out of control, at one point you could just feel it breaking that barrier in almost a scary fashion. And right after that, I think the public freaked out because all the hoopla was going on, and here comes Prince with Purple Rain, and in my opinion it's when the backlash started.
That's your opinion. They clearly wanted to replace Michael Jackson. And Prince was used as a pawn by the white media to attack and discredit Michael Jackson's success. Okay? Because in many ways he was the perfect anti-Michael Jackson. He plays instruments, he's a producer, and he's a songwriter, and he's more sexual, etc. This is how the bashing of Michael Jackson started. Okay, are they saying it's Prince's fault? Okay. I don't think so. But needless, Prince was preparing for his Purple Rain tour. I personally don't think Prince can give a shit. The tour was his longest and most successful tour to date, lasting 5 months throughout the United States. Or lasting 5 months.
The tour was equally successful. It was the closest thing I can imagine to something like the Beatles coming to the States. And I'll never forget.
And his concerts lasted longer than the previous ones, now 2 hours, and they included a lot of costume changes and more polished performances.
Nikki Granberry is live at Joe Louis Arena with the Prince concert and the fan or fans that are there. Nikki?
Purple Rain's tour was a total success, and MTV covered it as well.
Prince, he's got the #1 music movie in the country, the #1 album for the past 4 months. Exclusive.
And then came the moment of Trump for Prince at the 1985 American Music Awards and Grammy Awards ceremonies, giving an amazing performance. And he did do a very good performance. 'Cause I remember it. There he is in Madonna. Okay. And then, yeah. And Prince got it. That time. That's right. Excellent. Mm-hmm. And for the first time, Prince, who has always seemed to be self-absorbed, couldn't hide the emotions anymore.
could have never imagined this in my wildest dreams. And I would like to thank the Academy, Mr. Albert Magnoli, my manager.
This is
Stephen,
him receiving
Bob,
awards.
Joe, Bobby, Mark, and Matt, who couldn't be with us today. And most of all, God. Thank you very much.
Okay, after winning all of these prizes, Prince was officially hailed as an icon by the music industry and the same level as Michael Jackson.
The hottest name in entertainment today is...
And his movie Purple Rain became a cult film.
The hottest name in entertainment today is Prince. His music and sexy style.
He doesn't worry too much about that stuff, about failing. And there was no question about it.
It was almost as if he had an epiphany at that point. It was
Oops.
wild. And it was just this whole...
Yes, he's a wild child.
He went.
My video stops there, and there are still many other stuff to say about Prince and Michael Jackson, but you have good understanding of how things started now. Okay. So that's going to conclude. Oh, wait. We have too much credit. We have too often credit some black entertainers to open up the doors for black people, but when it comes to Michael Jackson, that statement is really the truth. Oh, rally the truth. Okay. Yeah, really the truth. Sorry. Excuse me. Before Thriller, black artists couldn't even sell over 200 million copies, but after Thriller, they started selling albums like crazy and making tons of money. But we also entered an era where black artists started to make watered down music and making all kinds of duets with white artists. Okay, sometimes that's a good thing. I don't know, I thought some of those were good. I've always preferred Michael Jackson's singing voice, more soulful, and even though Prince has a great falsetto, and Michael Jackson's music was more relatable, more R&B. But I like Prince too. Actually, they were my two favorite artists in the 1980s as well as a kid, by far. Now, when it comes to talent, I'll always regard Prince as a superior artist. The guy is a musician. He can dance, sing, perform, write, and produce all by himself. And back then, I didn't even know that he was so behind his music. and I've always seen Prince as a mix of James Brown, Sly Stone, Jimi Hendrix, like I said, Little Richard, and back then you could clearly see all these influences. I would say, I, in my opinion, would say James Brown. A little bit of James Brown, a little bit of Jimi Hendrix in there. But, totally Jimi Hendrix. I outshines everybody, so, that's who he might, when he plays the guitar, that's who he reminds me of. And I can see Lenny Kravitz, like Lenny Kravitz took, some... I could see they're now comparing James Brown and Little Richard and I can see they're putting them like side by side. There is, yep. But I would definitely say there's Jimmy. Yes, Jimi Hendrix. They're great at that guitar thing. To be honest, I am more a fan of Prince's talent and showmanship than a fan of his music, and I strongly believe that the most black people feel the same way. But there were also things I disliked about Prince. For instance, during the Purple Rain era, he was consistently surrounded by white people. Wow. The only black musician in his in his group, well, he was being multicultural. Okay, that was his whole thing. The only black musician in his group, the Revolution, at the time was the bass player, Mark Brown. But he wanted to put all of even in the music video for Let's Go Crazy, Purple Rain, you see nothing but white folks, and the back, as a kid, I couldn't relate. Because he wasn't being one way, he wanted to be many ways. And he had said this on the Larry King Live, that he wanted to be multicultural, whereas he wanted different backgrounds as part of his music. Not just make it a black thing. I don't know why that guy don't get it. Who cares? As a matter of fact, there was one song in particular from the Purple Rain album that I hate more than anything else. Okay, and what was that? To me, it's the whitest song ever made by a black artist, and the reaction of white folks to this song is in this concert clearly shows it is their favorite. Okay, so we're gonna get racist now. Okay, it's apparently a song called Countdown.